Hello, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines with Living the One Light. Okay, this video I'm going to be talking about the astrology of 2026. Very exciting. It's mm, as I'll get into, it's a year that feels unlike any other year I've felt or that my guides have kind of shown me ahead of time. And I mean, not that they're showing me what's going to happen in 2026, but these energies are a very big shift from the energies that we're in and we've been in. Yeah, so I'm going to drop into that. I'm going to be actually showing you pretty pictures as I'm doing that. And these pretty pictures are from the I made an astrology of 2026 guide, and I have a free version with the top five themes of 2026, or five of the top themes of the astrology of 2026, on available on my website. I'll put the link here. Very welcome. Please enjoy that. Download it. Totally free. At livingtheonelight.com. And yeah, but I'll put the link here also. So I'll be showing you, then I have the free version with the top five themes, and then I have a full version with the top 16 themes. In this video, we'll see how much we get to, but yeah, there's so much we could be looking at any moment of astrology, of course. And so in that full guide, I include all of the main planets plus a lot of asteroids, Kuiper Belt beings, Oort cloud, Lelia, Kuhanua, and Sedna. And some really key stars that are going to be very alive in 2026. So I'll talk about some of that here, and maybe we'll do future videos where I talk about more of that. But certainly, if you want lots and lots and lots of details, you can get the whole guide, and that actually the full guide also comes. I'm giving it for free to people who sign up for basically anything I'm doing coming up. So I'll talk more about that soon, but you can see all of it, including the free version, on my website, livingtheonelight.com. So yeah, so that's where these pretty pictures are going to be coming from. Um, so what I'll start with is context of where we are. I'm recording this November 16th, 2025. So about a month and a half before the end of 2025. And it feels important to start with the energies of what's currently happening, because it's, of course, leading to what's going to be happening. And I've been talking about this in some of my previous videos. I talked about it somewhat in the new moon video that I did for this new moon in Scorpio that we're having next week. And so you can go back to that if you want to hear a little bit more. Kelly Kolodny has also been kind of saying similar-ish things about the end of 2026. I think David Clements maybe is, anyway, various people, Pam Gregory, kind of a lot of people getting similar kind of feelings. So what feels really important to me now in this moment in mid-November 2026, as I talked about in my new moon video, and as Kelly's been talking about, this feels like we're in the end of the gestation, essentially, of the baby of New Earth, right? So what my guides have been saying for a couple of months now is they, for whatever reason, are naming December 19th as this very key date of the energy of the birth of the baby of ourself, or the butterfly of ourself, as being New Earth. So we've had, all this whole decades or however long of talking about the concept of New Earth, or that we're here to create this new world, or we're here to help this transitional time, etc. And but it's been kind of a concept, like a thing that we are striving for, or we wish for, or we want, or we know will happen someday. And my guides are just being very clear and adamant that December 19th, for whatever reason, that particular date is the moment we have the opportunity to be held to step in, really find it in ourselves that we are the spark of ourself as the divine is here to be in an earth body, and being new earth as we then cross the threshold into 2026. And as I also talk about in my new moon video for the new moon in Scorpio, they are also describing the first 3 months of 2026 to me as being like a fourth trimester of that baby of New Earth. So again, if you, I don't know if you're familiar with that concept of the fourth trimester, but in a lot of attachment and parenting approaches, like I worked a lot as a psychotherapist with children and families and babies and yeah, prenatal psychology and also postpartum psychology. And so there's this concept of the fourth trimester being really key because we know that as a newborn is born, they're newborn and they really need a lot of holding and extra care in those first 3 months. Then by that 3 month point, then they're kind of more emerging as like a person in a sense, right? They're starting to smile, and 3 months is when babies usually start laughing. And it's a very, very different developmental stage once a baby gets to that 3 month point. So that first 3 months of life often is thought of as the fourth trimester. It's like the baby is out of the womb technically, but still kind of needs to be a little bit treated as though they're still in the womb in a sense. Yeah, so that's the first 3 months of 2026 is how my guides are framing that time. And yeah, and so what feels just important to say, again, if you're hearing this video still kind of in the middle of November or the end of November or even the beginning of December 2025, when I went into my praying this morning, and I ask every morning, I do this prayers, and I ask at the end of my prayers, what is mine? I say, I am highest quantum source light. What is mine to do? And then I get shown whatever it is that my guides are wanting me to know or see or do or etc. So this morning, um, long story short, when I asked what is mine to do, what I felt was they showed me, and it was a very visceral feeling actually, the sense of holding a space for existence. And then I could feel the need for this us in this time to be held really gently, firmly, but gently. And because there's this shifting going on still, right? That we're still in this sort of shift moment where we're not quite ready to be birthed yet. And then I realized viscerally what I was feeling in my body was the exact feeling of what it's like to be pregnant. I've been pregnant twice with, both of my kids. And to be at that last month of pregnancy, I went, whoa, it's the feeling if you've, uh, yeah, been pregnant with a baby at that point. It's like the baby kind of could be born right now, but hopefully will get those last few weeks of gestation. But you can feel the whole baby in the womb. You can feel, like I would even like palpate, really gently, and I could feel their feet and their head. And it's often in that last month where the baby is really getting settled in for the birth, right? So what I was feeling in my praying was the sense of between now and December 19th, really needing for us to be held, to hold ourselves, to let ourselves just be in that kind of settling in moment where ideally, if the baby isn't positioned in the birth, with the head down in the birth canal yet, it's going to, in this month, then, reconfigure itself with its own innate intelligence of its own body and the mother's body, to find its way to settle in and to be ready for that, hopefully, gentle, easy birth. So yeah, I felt that very, very viscerally this morning, and I went, whoa, that's what that feeling is. and we're a month out, like, a month and 3 days on this day I'm recording this. So, wow. I remember that feeling. It's been a long time since I've been pregnant. My younger one is 13 and a half. My older one is about to turn 19. But yeah, but I certainly feel that. I know that feeling really well in my body. And I went, wow, okay. Yeah. So that's the sense I have of kind of where we are now. And it feels really important that we honor that still being in that gestation time until the baby really is ready to naturally birth itself, right? Which, according to my guides, is the December 19th. Although, I mean, the Martha me, the human brain of me is like, well, it can't be that precise, but they're like, just just do it. So anyway, okay. So that's kind of the pre-birth stuff and the pre 2026 stuff that's feeling especially alive and important to name. And then let me show you these pretty pictures and some of the main themes I see coming in 2026, because it all stems from this moment we're in now. Okay. So yeah. So the main the main thing I feel as we get close to 2026 and we're about to cross that threshold into this is really the big overarching thing is this opportunity for us to be stepping in as New Earth and to be getting really supported to bring the dream of it into form, into reality. That New Earth is not about being just floating as light, because if we were floating as light, we wouldn't be Earth, right? And uh Right. So to really be in our bodies and to really do this in concert with Gaia, in concert with each other, in concert with ourselves, in concert with all the beings of Gaia, all the beings of the cosmos, all the infinite benevolent realms in general, and of course ultimately with as source and with and as source. We are source, all of it. So that's the overarching opportunity of 2026, the way that I feel it. And then everything else kind of flows and supports that. So, okay. So, yes. So one of the big things happening, and again, these pretty pictures I'm going to be showing you, the first few ones are in the free guide. So the free Cosmic Astrology of 2026 guide. So please go and download that if you want it. Um, yeah, so the one of the biggest transits, of course, of 2026, and especially of the beginning of 2026, is this Neptune Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries. Everybody's talking about that. It's a big deal. And there's so many aspects to that transit, but the biggest way I'm feeling called to really be with it is essentially this photo or this picture, right? The sense of um ourselves stepping in as the divine wise being that we are, the fact that we are literally ancientness in form as an earth body, and we are here to be stepping in as that. And actually, I want to stop sharing for 1 second so I can say a little more about this, because this is feeling so important, so key, and so how do I say it? So yes, so I think one of the biggest, I want to say opportunities, but one of the biggest shifts I have been witnessing in actually even in myself, but in many of you who have been part of this community, part of the recent gatherings I've been holding, Especially those of you who have been in the eclipse journey I did in September, and then the how to channel journey I did in October, and then just actually in everything, all the way around, astrology 101, everything, stars, yes, speak. Um, and then lots of you in the free community. I have been so deeply moved by this theme, which is I've been witnessing person after person after person after person after person after person, and including myself, including myself, very actively letting go of self-doubt, the notion that the answers are out there, that somebody out there or up there, I would say even up there, like a guru type, has the answers, and that somehow you don't, or I don't, or that we ourselves don't, and that it's a special other being who has those answers. We're really actively, and I'm witnessing you actively moving out of that paradigm. And that's so important because when we don't fully embody all of who we are and the reality that we are Earth, we are New Earth, we are um, the ancient wisdom of existence, we literally are denying our own self and the planet all of ourself. Okay. I mean, it's stereotypical. We've heard these words before a million times, but it's so true. I can't even explain the powerful shifts I witnessed in people over the past 2 months. I mean, seriously. Wow. People one after another, after another, after another, going from a feeling of like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm so and so is so much better at XYZ than me. What do I have to offer? All of those kinds of things, to within 3, 4 weeks, boom. It's like confident and I mean, not like flawless or something. None of us are flawless, right? But confident, stepping in, just saying, yeah, like whatever is moving through me is perfect, and here I go. Um, I can't even explain how deeply moved I am, have been, continue to be as I'm witnessing that in you. And then I'm having my own parallel process with that, right? In my own way. And yeah, that's just so important. I cannot express how incredibly key and important that shift is. We have to do that for ourselves, but for the planet. We came here to be part of helping the planet make this transition. And I would say actually even all of existence, make this transition from the time of great forgetting into the time of great remembering. And it's really hard to do that if we stay in a mentality of the forgetting. That's really what it comes down to, is that in order to support the planet to shift into the time of great remembering, which is what we're here to do, and to be New Earth, um, we have to shift. You know, we have to let go of all that. That's like all erroneous. It's literally um not factual that we are not good enough and all that kind of stuff. It's incorrect. So yeah, it's just I cannot say enough how incredibly important that is. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you who have been really working hard to make those shifts. I see it and I feel it, and yeah, it literally makes me cry. So just want to say that. So that's very related to this first thing I'm showing you, which is that Saturn Neptune conjunction. Is, Saturn. Saturn in its highest expression is ourself as the elder of existence that we are. Combined with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, it's like, yeah, we are the divine Neptune. We are The dream of the divine in form, Saturn, at 0 degrees of Aries to make a new start as a being of the divine in form, as earth, as ancient wisdom. Literally. That's who we are. That's what we are. Um, yeah. So big, big, big deal. Okay. And then in that free guide, I have a little more about the details of the dates and all that. Yeah, so you can find that there. Um, okay. Then I would say the other probably biggest transit of 2026 comes a few months later, um, with Uranus in Gemini, full Uranus. Okay, so Uranus will fully enter Gemini on April 25th, 26th, 2026, depending on where you are in the world. And then on June 11th, Uranus is going to be squaring the nodes of the moon. So currently at as I'm recording this, Uranus just re-entered Taurus last Friday, a little over a week ago. Um, and will be in Taurus until April 25th, 2026, and then we'll be squaring the nodes of the moon on June 11th, 2026. And really interestingly, on February 3rd, when Uranus goes direct, it's going to be going direct at 2727 Taurus. I just love that number, the numberness, those numbers, 2727 Taurus. Very, very cool. Right. So, but the squaring of the nodes, Uranus squaring the nodes, that's the kind of the big transit I'm talking about here. So that's June 11th, 2026. And when Uranus is being squared by the nodes of the moon, Uranus will actually be with the Pleiades. So Uranus is currently with the Pleiades because the Pleiades, span around 29 degrees of Taurus, 0 degrees of Gemini. And so by the time Uranus is being squared by the nose of the moon, it's going to be at 2 degrees of Gemini. So it's still with the Pleiades, not precise in that way, but basically there. So the Pleiades are a big player in the energies of 2026. They're one of the main star systems that are the most prominent, I feel like, in 2026. And so we'll see how that's feeling, as we get closer to that time. But the way I would kind of sum that up is the first part of 2026 feels like, very, very connected to that Saturn-Neptune conjunction. So very much about stepping in as New Earth, being held in that fourth trimester of the baby of New Earth. But then by the time we get to kind of middle 2026, the energies shift dramatically. And I'll talk a little more about that in a minute. But this squaring of the nodes by Uranus is part of that very different kind of energy. And the way I feel that, at least now, is Uranus is all about, ourselves as the intelligence of the divine and being radically aligned with ourselves as the intelligence of the divine. So when the nodes of the moon are squaring Uranus with the Pleiades in Gemini, the main feeling I have about that is that we're going to be getting supported in the beginning of 2026 to step in to ourselves as New Earth. And then we move along in 2026, and then we have this energy coming in, really helping us to realign, like reassess. Okay, wait. So we're stepping in as the baby of New Earth. We're being held in that fourth trimester, as the baby of New Earth. But then we start to, maybe test out our sea legs a little bit. And this nodes of the moon squaring Uranus with the Pleiades feels to me like maybe it's going to be essentially a correction point where we can go, okay, we were kind of beginning to feel what it is to be the being of New Earth, but let's come back to make sure we're fully aligned. We're really grounded and um, clicked in to that purity of ourself as the intelligence of the divine that we are, with the Pleiadian energy really supporting us, like really working with us, holding us in particular at that time. Okay. And there's so much more, and we'll see, as we get closer how that feels. But then also in the middle of 2026, this is another of the big shifts in energy. We're going to be having Jupiter entering Leo. So Jupiter enters Leo June 29th, 2026. So just after that Uranus squaring the nodes. And as I'm going to talk about, hang on, where is it? Let me find it. Here it is. And on July 26th, so about a month later, the nodes of the moon are going to switch into Leo and Aquarius. So in the second half, the middle and the second half of 2026, Leo energy is getting so highlighted. Big, big, big time, because we're going to have Jupiter in Leo, we're going to have the South Node in Leo, and we're also going to have Mars in Leo doing a retrograde from Virgo back into Leo. So especially the end degrees of Leo that are going to be wow. So highlighted in the end of 2026 and in 2027. Um, and that's a whole topic, but essentially what I'm feeling in that is, this year of 2026, again, so much about us stepping in as New Earth, being New Earth, that we are here to be. It's no longer just a concept. It's no longer just a dream. We actually are it. We step into our full confidence, the reality that we are here to do what we're here to do, and we're not going to beat around the bush. We're not going to deny that. We're not going to listen to those, outdated, those ideas that are not helpful anymore, that we're not good enough, et cetera, et cetera. And we're gonna be here, we're gonna do it. And then we're gonna help get realigned with ourselves as the intelligence of the divine, and with these strong Leo energies, then this will also powerfully support us to come into that heart-centered, sacred leader energy and that confidence again. And when the South Node enters Leo in particular, so again, starting July 26, 2026, wherever the South Node is, it's a kind of like a portal that both allows in past gifts and abilities and all of that, and also is like a portal that allows out things that no longer serve. So when I feel the South Node entering Leo, Jupiter entering Leo, the South Node will actually enter Leo from the 29 degrees downward, and Jupiter will enter from 0 degrees Leo and upward, and they will meet a total of 3 times, because Jupiter is going to go retrograde very near the South Node, actually, and when it's in Leo. That feels to me like both an opportunity to radically release out of balance versions of power, leadership, uh, all things Leo that are not helpful. And at the same time, step in with healthy Leo. So healthy, heart-based, sacred leadership, confidence, cheering each other on to be the full flower of the divine, the full masterpiece of the divine that we all and each are, right? So I'm sure I and lots of other people and all of us will be talking about this Leo theme so many times throughout 2026 and into 2027 because it's going to be incredibly alive. But just on a basic level, we could easily think of many out of balance Leo examples. Um, but what we really are going to be having the opportunity to do is to be held, to remember, to really hone, and to really claim, again, step in to the healthy aspects of Leo energy that we are here to be, that we are needed to be, that we are each and all in our own ways, heart-centered, sacred leaders. That could mean we can be leaders by going to the grocery store and smiling at somebody, right? Or we can be a leader who is literally known and seen all over the world. Both are extremely important and equally important. And everything we do, everything we do has um, consequences, has impact. And we are leaders because we choose in every single moment how we want to impact the world. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Then, yeah. And so we have that Mars retrograde from Virgo back into Leo at the end of 2026. Again, you can see all these dates and things in the actual guide. We're going to have a Venus retrograde from Libra into Scorpio. I won't get into that right here, but yeah, that's another kind of theme coming. And then Mercury retrogrades in water signs. So given the Venus retrograde that's going to be highlighting Libra and Scorpio, and then the Mercury retrogrades, which are going to be highlighting all of the water signs, we can guess that there's going to be a very strong also opportunity and support to be held to hone our emotional intelligence. That's part of what this feels like for me. And to really there are many this is okay, this is something I'm going to stop sharing again. There are many skills that I feel like we have the opportunity to really hone. So in this coming year, when we're here to be New Earth, well, what does that mean? It can mean so many different things. But for example, in my how to channel course, in one of the groups, one of you made this had a question and kind of made a request. One person said, how can you share how you hold sacred circles? Because I do that all the time, right? In many different ways. And so I said, oh, yeah, that's a great question. That's a really important question. Um, and because I realized, of course, I have that training in my background as a psychotherapist. I mean, I've taken group therapy trainings and courses, and I've done all that kind of a thing so many times, but it's not necessarily a skill that everybody has innately. And yeah, and then similarly, I would say another big skill that's really key and important as we are moving into being New Earth is various different kinds of skills around emotional intelligence, right? And how to deeply listen. So Libra, this is that Libra, actually, that Venus going retrograde in Libra back into Scorpio. It's interesting. I just thought of that. Right. To really support each other, support ourselves and support each other to continue to grow. Like we've been working on this probably, I've certainly been working on this a lot, but to continue our learning around undoing our interpersonal ways of being, even from more of that outdated style in that time of great forgetting and into okay, really honing what are our sets of values on all kinds of levels, but including interpersonally, intrapersonally, like within ourselves, and also interpersonally with each other. So, yeah, really honing our ability to deeply listen to ourselves, really honor our own needs, know what our own needs even are. We've been trained, most of us probably, to be very empathetic and to put ourselves last, if even we even put ourselves anywhere, to serve the needs of others. If we're a very empathetic person, we've probably been trained in that way. And so we've been trained to give from lack. Um, and right. And so as we get held to know our own needs, to really honor our own emotional body, our physical body, um, and our own deep spiritual intelligence, ourselves as the divine, we're learning a whole set of skills about how to come back into a healthy balance of, yeah, nurturing ourselves, realizing that our needs exist, that our needs are valid and actually crucial, important. um, and then learning how to give ourselves what we need, receive what we need, be open to receiving even. That's a whole skill, right? That a lot of us, I think, haven't been trained to do. And now we're learning, what is that? What does that mean to be actually receiving, not only giving? And giving, when we do give from overflow as opposed to giving from lack. A lot of us have many lifetimes, and then also I would say this lifetime of some kind of martyrdom, or just all of those kinds of things. So we're bringing ourselves out of that. And so I can see how perhaps that Venus retrograde from Leo into Scorpio, and then all the Mercury retrogrades in the water signs will probably support us with that, with the emotional intelligence component. So that's really, really cool, actually. Really amazing. And then let me see if there's anything else I want to speak to here in this. Um, oh, this is a really, really amazing. I love this one. Okay. Another big, gigantic shift of energy coming next year, but even more strongly in 2027. Chiron is entering Taurus. So Chiron is going to enter Taurus again, June 19th, 2026. So July, there's so many shifts of energy. So June 19th, 2026, Chiron will enter Taurus. The interesting kind of funny thing is, though, Chiron is only going to go to the 0 degree, it's not even going to reach 1 degree of Taurus. And then it's going to go retrograde on August 3rd, 2026 at 0 degrees, 52 minutes of Taurus. So it's going to peak, just barely peak into Taurus and then go back into Aries. Um, because and part of what's happening actually also on a bigger level is that Chiron is approaching its own Chiron return, because Chiron was quote unquote discovered in the end of 1977 when it was in those early degrees of Taurus. I was actually born in earlier 1997. I mean, oh my God, 1977. 1977. My Chiron is in the end of Aries. But by the end of 1977, when it was discovered, it was in the early degrees of Taurus. So Chiron is moving to its own Chiron return soon. Um, yeah, so that's a whole topic. That's a whole big, long topic that I'm sure many of us will be talking about in the coming year and two and more. Yeah, so when we have Chiron, kind of peeking into Taurus, I love that. It really, of course, it mirrors, or it sort of parallels, or has echoes of the fact that right now Uranus has re-entered Taurus, going retrograde. And so we'll have Uranus in Taurus until April 25th, 2026. And then we'll have Chiron in Taurus from June 19th, 2026 until September 17th, 2026. So just this little blip of time, just for that one little season there, actually, like precisely the season of summer or winter, depending on where you are in the world. will be the one little blip of time when Chiron will be in Taurus next year. And so Chiron in Taurus, I mean, that's a whole topic, right? But certainly supporting us to come into a remembering of ourselves as Earth on a whole other level, remembering the medicine of the reality that we are Earth. We're here to be Earth. We're here to be healers of Earth, healer beings in this time of New Earth. Um, yeah, and this sense of, the healing quality of coming back to basics and the simplicity of things. Um, and the reality that I would say healing our relationship to being Earth, that being uh, in bodies on Earth has been a pretty traumatic experience for probably everybody in this lifetime, but lots and lots and lots of other lifetimes. So, it's been a lot of violence, all the things. And I can imagine, among other things, that Chiron entering Taurus being just a very healing, soothing balm for that trauma that we've experienced. Yeah, so much there, but I love that. And then going along with that, love this. This is so good. The end of 2026, Chariklo, who is the wife of Chiron, is actually going to be conjunct the north node of the moon at 22 degrees. What? That is not what in the, oh yeah, sorry. One second. Yeah, 22 degrees of Aquarius. My brain was stalling there for a second. So, wow. Wow. That is a whole topic also. Chariklo, if you're not familiar with Chariklo, she in general, to me, is an energy of healing space. So it's like, so Chiron is Kairos means hands, right? So Chiron energy is a very more of a hands-on kind of a healing energy. Chariklo, his wife, is much more about just the fact that we sometimes we need to step in and help when healing is needed, but a lot of the time actually what's needed is just to hold healing space. So, I can't predict. This is more than a year away when that energy is going to be happening. It's hard for me to feel into it quite yet, but wow, I just love, 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 love that Chariklo is going to be conjunct the north node of the moon. Yeah, just really bringing in this, I don't know, giving us a soothing, healing balm and reminding us of the fact that we are that Chariklo energy that is very natural to many or most or all of us. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what that feels like. And yeah, it's just beautiful. I love it. So supportive. Yeah, and then, there's some more themes here. Maybe I'll come back to in another video, or you can look at the guide and see more here. But Estrella, the asteroid, is going to be very alive. The star Fomalhaut is going to be very alive. Diana, the asteroid, very alive. Actually, Diana, Estrella, and Fomalhaut will be together for a good chunk of the year, with the north node of the moon in the middle of the year. So that's a whole topic and come back to another time. Also, I love this. Love this. Oh my goodness. Love it. The asteroid Lilith is going to be so alive this year. So alive. And Lilith is a whole topic, right? But essentially, I can feel this as one, it actually kind of goes with the Leo energy being so strong, but in a slightly different way, really supporting us to be the full power that we are. So lots of us have this kind of narrative in this lifetime or other lifetimes, many, many, many other lifetimes. Um, I can say this is definitely true for me, and I have the Lilith asteroid precisely squaring my nodes natally. So yeah, it's a very big energy for me. Um, that we are the power of existence. That's literally true for everything and all of us. And there has been, in this time of great forgetting, this very strong theme of us essentially being ostracized or told to shut down the reality that we are the power of existence, or we've been demonized for it, or beaten for it, or mistreated in whatever kind of way, especially if we have manifested as, a being of the divine, of the feminine, and masculine as well. But this very powerful feminine energy, as we know, has not been treated well. So that is also yet another aspect of the time of great forgetting that we are actively being supported to undo, and then to come back to bring our Lilith self, our healed and healthy Lilith self, which is ourselves as the full power of existence, back into the world, back into our body, back into ourself. And that she is going to be super alive, especially well, in the first half of 2026. Yeah, so there's more I could say there. Um, but yeah, I'm so excited about that. Okay. And then a lot of Eros energy, Gong Gong, Varda, Haumea. Yeah. Those are the big players. Oh, and the star Sirius also very alive. So that's one thing I just wanted to make sure to mention also, is that, as I mentioned, I think in my last video on the new moon, on March 10th, 2026, Jupiter will be going direct at 15 degrees of Cancer, which is right with the star Sirius. And then actually on March 16th, Three-Eye Atlas is going to have its closest flyby of Jupiter, while Jupiter is still with the star Sirius. So, yeah, so the big star being players of 2026, from my perspective, are the Pleiades, big time, Sirius, big time, and Fomalhaut. Oh, and Fomalhaut and Regulus. Regulus in the heart of Leo the Lion. Um, Regulus is at 0 degrees of Virgo. But yeah, there's many ways in which Regulus also is going to be so highlighted. The south node of the moon is going to be right with Regulus, for in the middle of 2026. Yeah, so again, the Pleiades, Sirius, um, Regulus, and Fomalhaut. Those are the big players in 2026 in terms of stars or star systems. Um, yeah. So you get the picture. Yeah, this is a big year. This is a big year of choice. That's how it feels. It's a big year of us, especially around in the coming weeks and around that December 19th time, really having the opportunity, or solstice, or whatever it feels like for you. It's a threshold moment where it feels like there's a whole humongous wave of beings ready to step in as new Earth. We're not waiting around anymore. We're not waiting for so and so and so and so to do this. It's not going to be a wave of light that just like transcends us. We're here to be Earth, and we're here to do it. And then we have so much cosmic and spiritual and earthly support, and each other, human support. And we're here to do it together, not isolated, together. That's a big part of the new moon. Am I gonna No, the north node also will be entering Aquarius. That's actually something I didn't even touch on. So the south node will be entering Leo, like I mentioned. So that Leo south node energy and the Jupiter in Leo, super big and important. But yet another side to that, and whole other topic, is the fact that then, because the south node is in Leo, the north node will be in Aquarius, right? So all things Aquarius, again, are going to get so highlighted, including the fact that we are here to do this together as a collective. But in an honoring of our uniqueness of ourselves as individuals and the shared collective light grid, you could say, or vibrational mm, collective quality. Yeah. So many more things I could talk about. But I will stop there for the moment. If you have questions, I would love to know your questions about the astrology of 2026, not about your specific chart, because I'm not going to do that in a video here, but I am more than happy to make a second video about the astrology of 2026. So if you have questions about the astrology of 2026, put those here in the comments, and or I will also create a post in my free community, which is you can, if you're not part of it yet, join it. It's free at livingtheonelight.com or on the free Living the One Light app, which you can download for Apple and for Android. Yeah, so I'll make a post in there asking for questions about the astrology of 2026, and um, assuming you guys give me questions, which I'm assuming you will, and then I'll make a second video or maybe even go live one day and to answer those questions. Yeah. So if you want the free version of the Astrology of 2026 guide, again, livingtheonelight.com, very welcome to have that. If you want the full guide, it's also available there. Um, but I'm giving it as actually a gift, the full guide, with anybody who signs up for kind of anything I'm doing moving forward. So yeah, just to give a rundown of that. Lots of you have already signed up for these things. December 5th. This is a free event. If you haven't signed up, definitely sign up. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a free gathering, December 5th, 2025, with me, Julia Balaz, David Clements, Dr. John Ryan, and Kelly Kolodny. And I don't know yet precisely what we're going to be doing that day. My sense is, what I was at least feeling in my prayers this morning is I think perhaps what that's meant to be is like a collective activation moment pre-birth, right? If the birth of this baby is kind of that December 19th or solstice time, which is the timing I know at least Kelly also is feeling, maybe that December 5th is meant to be like a pre-birth activation moment collectively. I'm not sure yet. I mean, I was asked by my guides to host that free event, and I can see the sacred geometry of it, and it's an activation moment for sure, but I don't know that I'll know precisely how or why or what until the moment of it. But in any case, what I can feel for sure is that it's very, very powerful, and I would love to have you there. I know that. And please share that with anybody else you think may benefit. So that's a free event, December 5th, 2025. Then December 19th, on that day, keep mentioning, my guides are having me hold this one-time event, very low cost, where I'm going to be channeling basically to help us be held, to find that spark of the divine that is you as New Earth, to really be it, to feel that birth moment of you as, like if you've been the butterfly inside of the chrysalis, which I think a lot of us are feeling like, or you're that baby in the womb. Like we are the parent and we are the baby all at the same time, right? And yeah, somehow we're going to be guided. It'll be all channeled that day for that birth moment, individually and collectively, to be the baby of New Earth being born. So that's December 19th, 2025. Yeah, and if you join that, then I just give you the full 2026 astrology guide. It's already there. When you sign up, you immediately have that to download if you want it. And then lots of you have already signed up for this as well. Starting January 7th, 2026, January 7th to March 25th, 2026, my guides are having me hold what they're calling New Earth Sacred Leader Activation. Sorry, let me start over. New Earth Sacred Leadership Activation Journey. um, to essentially be a safe container, essentially to be that fourth trimester holding space for ourselves as the babies of New Earth, right? So that 3-month journey, you can go to my website and find out all the details, but essentially it's going to be um, 3 months with at least 2, sometimes 3 gatherings per month, where once, at least once a month, and in March, twice a month, I will be channeling to be held. The spirit world, I don't know. They have a plan. I don't know yet what it is. I probably won't know until the exact moment, but I will essentially be channeling whatever they feel and they know somehow is right, um, to be coming through to support us in that fourth trimester of ourselves as the baby of New Earth, to really hone uh hone our ability to be moving into that space, to be finding who we are as a being of New Earth, what is ours to do, and also to be held so that our nervous systems can regulate. We can really move into this stepping into ourselves as New Earth in a way that feels really soothing and really calming and keeps up that confidence, and we can address any sense of I'm not good enough or whatever it is that might arise in the moment, and just be held in that, and um yeah, and find our way and be supported during that fourth trimester time period. um that journey actually also, because of that request I mentioned earlier, I'm going to, in February, just as part of the journey, I will hold a workshop on how to hold sacred circles. So that's something, if you're part of the journey, you could join or not. If that's not everybody wants to hold sacred circles, but for people who do want to do that and they feel called to do that, I will be, yeah, giving my version of how I do that and kind of guidelines and ethics and that kind of thing, and answering questions about all of that. And yeah, and then there will be one group sharing circle, full group sharing circle per month as well as part of that journey. I did have the option to join those total of 8 group gatherings only, or to also join small sharing circles where I'll be looking at people's charts and all of that. Not surprisingly, I had 3 small sharing circle options, and they all are already full. More almost 2 months out, and they're already full. Like, wow. So yeah, I am probably gonna hold a fourth one, and so I will, if I decide to hold a fourth one, which I'm pretty sure I will let you know. I will send out an announcement about that. If you're interested in being part of a small sharing circle, you could email me if you want. You could email support@livingtheonelight.com, and let us know that you're interested. Those circles are limited to 8 people each, so they got filled up really quickly. But if you're interested in just the full journey, that is open to as many of you who want to join as possible. And I tried to give sliding scale options to make it possible for as many of you to join as you as want to. So yeah, you can join that anytime. That also actually comes with the December 19th event lumped in. You don't have to pay twice. You don't have to pay extra for that. And it comes with that full Astrology of 2026 guide as well. Um, and then the other thing I am also going to be doing starting in March of 2026, a little ways out there, but I did put it up on my website last night, so it's there if you know that you want to do it, is I'm going to be doing the third go round of my Astrology 101 course. And I'll say way more about that as we get closer to that time. But that one also will have the option. It has the option to do just 2 live full group gatherings with me every month, and or to join monthly small sharing circles where I look at your chart every month, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you really, really do want the opportunity to be part of a small sharing circle with me, that's another option. That's going to be starting March 4th, 2026, and goes for an entire year. And again, I made sliding scale options there. You can choose a pay over time option if you want. Also, yeah, so that's up on my website now also. And then there will be other things coming in 2026. But yeah, one thing I'll just mention now because it feels relevant. I'm being told to say it. From September, October, November of 2026, I'm planning to hold what's going to be called a something like sacred business, sacred sacred business journey, something like that. It's going to be so this 3 month journey I'm holding January, February, March. Uh, the New Earth Sacred Leadership Activation Journey that so many of you have already joined. That's going to be really very much focused on supporting our nervous systems and being held in energy activations that are channeled, right? So more energetically focused and emotional body focused. Then, so that's January to March of 2026. Then on the other end of 2026, September, October, November, that journey is going to be very practical. So my guides have been saying to me for over a year, maybe almost 2 years now, that there's something about that September to November 2026 time period where they say that a whole group of you, a whole bunch of you, apparently, are going to be really ready to put into practical form your way of being New Earth. Like in other words, if you feel called to have your own business or um, put yourself out in the world as a particular kind of healer or holder of group spaces or I don't know, whatever it is that you feel called to offer, that journey, September, October, November 2026, is going to be very practical, where I'm going to hold the space and channel also for you to find, to get really clear about what is yours to do, but in a very practical way. And so it'll be, helping think with things like finding the name of your business, making a logo, making a website. How do you encourage and create genuine community? How do you quote unquote market, but do it in a way that's really ethical and in alignment with your values and in alignment with yourself and not weird and yucky, that actually supports New Earth and that is in alignment with what you could call the values of New Earth or your own values, right? Yeah, anyway, so that's more to come, but if that's something I'm being told to mention that. So I don't know, you could be percolating on that if that's something that feels like it might be calling to you. So that's coming at the end of 2026 as well. And then I have a plan for the middle of 2026, but I'm going to let that percolate a little more. But anyway, lots of things. So, um, yes, I think I've said everything I wanted to say in this moment. Yeah, I would love to know your thoughts. Of course, I would love to know, what are you feeling as we're moving into 2026? How does this all feel for you? And yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, this is what we're here to do. This is what we're here to be, literally, right? So it's like, oh my goodness. Like we're really here, we're really doing it. And the thing I think I want to close on is, again, more than anything, is like, wow. Again, the transformations I've been witnessing in so many of you. I've lost track how many. I can't even begin to attempt to count, right? How so many of you are just making these leaps and bound major transformations in your sense of confidence, your sense of, yeah, just letting go of all that self-doubt that we all have. I mean, again, I can speak for myself. My guides have been in the last few months really on my case. Like they show me the vision of what I'm here to do for the planet, and the human me goes, really? And then they go, Stop, let that go. Like we need you to just do it. Just do it. I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Um, yeah, so I'm right there with you. And but we're doing it. We're doing it. And I'm witnessing in that in you so, so beautifully. Like, oh my goodness. I don't know what a better gift you could be giving to the world by doing that. And yeah. So that's the biggest takeaway for me at this moment, and the biggest thing I want to really name, really articulate, really cheer on. I mean, truly, like I feel like I could cry right now, feeling that and thinking of that, and thinking of each of you that I've been witnessing doing that. It's like so many examples. For the sake of confidentiality, I won't name them here, right? But it's just like I'm thinking of many, many of you in particular, specifically, and just all of us, just everybody. Whether or not I directly know you or know your story or whatever it is, it's like, wow. So, yes. Okay, wonderful. And if you have questions about astrology of 2026 you want me to address in a further video, let me know. Um, okay, wonderful. See you all very, very soon. Thank you so much for being here and for being you.